Louisiana has the highest rate of obesity and heart disease in the United States. Heart disease kills more Louisianians than anything else. How will you work to improve health and fight obesity and heart disease in our community? Mr. Landry.
That's a good question. I like to eat myself. Go down to Ball's Fried Chicken at least once a week. I never have checked the calorie count, but I'm sure it's probably pretty high. That's a tough thing, and you find that all throughout the South, where we like our food. Every time we get together, it's all about where we're eating and drinking and sharing time with one another. You want to. It has to be exciting. You want to get people involved, and there's a lot of programs out there, and whether it's the heart folks or there's one after another that offer that, and a lot of people they'll go on walks, and whether it's cancer awareness or it's weight or what have you, and that's tough to get people involved. But I think you want to partner with the school system. You want to educate people at a young age. We get older, we know that we're not supposed to, we should be eating better, but we don't do it. So I would partner with the schools, is what I would do.
Mr. Monbiot.
I agree with partnering with the schools, because actually, when I was in high school, which wasn't that long ago, one of the issues I saw was health Health ed, it doesn't really teach you much about food. It just pretty much shows you the layout of the human body and a few things about nutrition. It doesn't go into detail. When I got to college, I actually read some books about nutrition, and it's totally different from what I learned. So partnering with the schools and teaching at a younger age would be the better answer, because you can't force people to not eat. It's just not going to work. So you start when they're young.
I think part of the way to address obesity is two ways. We have to do it through diet and exercise. It's about time that Lake Charles had a Whole Foods market. We do need something that's going to work to help people with their diet. But also we need to have programs. We've talked about biking trails, walking trails, places where people go out to meet their neighbors. One of the things that I worked on when I was on the council was Riverside Park. Riverside Park is about a half-mile trek along the Calcasieu River. There's no cars or anything else. There's a tram that goes down there, but if you put bicycles, have kiosks with bicycles that you can rent, go out and walk with your friends and just have conversation during quiet time, that's going to help. The new Contraband Bridge that's coming is going to have a biking and walking trail. So there's a number of places, even on First Avenue, they started putting down a walking and biking trail. So I think the diet and education on how to properly diet, if you want to, if you choose to do so, but also exercise. Because some people just they're not going to give up their boudin, so let's go walk while we eat.
Mr. Banks.
Yes, I think one of the things that I've already started on is an initiative that I've started to work on. It's called Get Fit Lake Charles. I've talked with many nutritionists, many workout fitness gurus, different educational trainers, and this has been an initiative that I see will help bring a change to Lake Charles. And it's simply where even on weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, where we have these gurus, these Get Fit gurus, go to like the amphitheater behind the Civic Center and actually put on a loudspeaker where they get to lead people that will come up for exercise. It will be totally free. It's an initiative where people can come in, they can walk around the Civic Center, they can enjoy those times, ride bikes, but it will be an organized workout every week where we would have these individuals where people can come and get fit. And it's simply called an initiative called Get Fit Lake Charles.
I believe parks and recreation is probably the key in working with the education system here in the city. But kids come to parks, and they love, and young people come to parks. We can have people staffed with grants to help educate people how to eat healthy. We have wonderful parks in Lake Charles, not in all of the areas of Lake Charles. The Fishing Rider Road area, when I was a kid, we used to walk all the way back there on the road. We don't have that anymore. I want to recreate that road. I want to take some of that land and develop it, at least 400 or 500 feet of that land going north from the road in order to get more parks. in every area of the city ought to have a very outstanding, nice park, like out in Grand Lake Park, like other places. So I want to work on that.
Mr. Guillory?
Due to my experience in healthcare, one of my assignments by the mayor was to create a wellness program at the city. We did that through our human resources department. We now have a very beneficial wellness program in our city that provides an initiative walk with the mayor, working with Southwest Healthy, a partnership with Southwest Louisiana that we work with, and want to continue those type of programs. And we do work with Parks and Recreation, and that's how we created that initiative for the city employees. And I would like to bring that for the entire city. It's been very fruitful. That has allowed our employees to know their numbers, to get their diabetes down, and to eat right, different things like that. So I want to bring that to the city level as well.
Mr. Hunter?
Thank you, ma'am. Well, I also agree. I don't want people to give up boudin. I also don't want them to give up steaks and baked potatoes. But we can do more. We have the Partnership for Healthier Southwest Louisiana that we can do more with. It already exists. It can be funded better, and it can be expanded. Walking paths and biking paths. Walking paths and biking paths. We've been talking about this for 30 years. We can do more with that. We should be a city where every time you have to get half a block down the road, you got to hop in your car to get there. We should be a city where you can hop on a bike or take a walk down the road and be more active. So we can do more with that. And I believe as mayor of Lake Charles, we can tackle this issue. It's not going to happen overnight. Lord knows, if I'm being honest with people, I have my issues, you know, and I work at a restaurant, so you got to give me a little slack. But we can do better, and we will do better. Thank you.
Mr. Jackson?
You know, the mayor can implement things that help with the city employees, and if we get other businesses to do it, you can help out a lot. But I know they do it on a national level, they try and regulate food, but we can't regulate any foods. I mean, we can help some private organizations. We really can't give money to private organizations, just all of them. And there's very few that really qualify. But, you know, I would lose 20 pounds if I wanted to. My problem is I don't want to. That's it. So it's just up to the people that's going to have to make up their decision. We are building sidewalks everywhere we can right now, and walking paths, and
How will you address the attraction of new businesses being brought in to develop their business in North Lake Charles? We'll start with Mr. Mundell.
Yeah, this is one of my keys. It's called proper economic development, and will be one of my main concerns is North Lake Charles. However, it will be district to district tailoring. I'm not going to have it for all districts, but it's going to be proper tax incentives or tax-friendly zones to incentivize companies to go in those areas. Like, going down, we have like 6 hotels going straight down there towards the Parish. That shouldn't have happened. That's improper economic development. So I plan on moving more things towards North.
Mr. Simeon?
I think a lot of people want to get into business, but one of the biggest things that they don't have is the structure to organize a business. We have a seed center. I think we need to have ancillary of the seed center operating in that area to not only work with new businesses, but also existing businesses to help them strengthen. The other thing that businesses face a challenge in is getting money. And the normal banks, unless you have great credit, they're going to redline you. So I've worked with community development financial institutions, CDFIs, which come in and they make those types of loans that are normally seen as risky, but they also have incubator programs to help businesses where they'll have a 98% success rate on businesses that come through. So I think we have to put those kind of incentives in place, help businesses put together business plans. I did it with a number of clients that I've had, and those businesses have gotten out of the chute, and they're doing very, very well. If anyone read The Voice magazine, those ladies came in, they wanted to start a publication, and they went through that same process, and now they're well on their way. So we can do that with all of this.
Mr. Banks?
Yes, I personally serve as a business incubator myself. Properties that I have on Ryan Street, where we're giving people opportunities to create their business. One of the things that I would look at is civic entrepreneurship, and that is just simply where we're reaching out to people that want to go into business with information, educating them, and preparing them to become business owners. One of the things that I also would look at doing is what is called social investment, and these are the individuals that maybe have retired. A lot of people that have retired, they have a lot of money, and they are sitting on it, and they don't have to get capital to start business. We would actually go to those individuals and get to talk to them to try to bring them to start business in the North Lake Charles area, as well as community development, beautification, business, being more business-minded, but also finding funds to be able to bring in new business. One of the things that I would do is reach out and try to make the area attractive so people would want to build business in that particular area.
Florida.
Look, we need 2 new departments in the city. We doing some of this, we need to do more. That's a business development department and a grant, state and federal grant department. And so I plan to have those 2 departments. We have to go to the franchisee and get people together and say, look, we want a franchise. I have a delegation, go to that franchise headquarters and really lobby to get a franchise here with those developers, and these people want to invest in Lake Charles. The big difference between Lake Charles and last year is the amount of millionaires per capita. They have many, many more millionaires per capita than we do. We're going to change that with me as mayor.
As assistant city administrator, one of the calls, or many of the calls I used to get was how can I get a piece of this pie? Over the past year, about a year and a half, we worked with the Department of Energy and also LED to create a program called the Small Business Opportunity Program. This program works with our small businesses, our disadvantaged enterprise businesses, women-led businesses, veteran-based businesses that provided education, provided enlightenment, provided resources by way of certification and training. We want to continue those programs and expand those programs as well, because we would like to, as I mentioned earlier, provide these TIP-type funding, these enterprise zones, so we can build these businesses or allow these businesses to be built in all areas of the city. So we can get stores such as a grocery store north of Broad Street, different things like that. I think it can be done with those means of incentivizing our business.
Mr. Theta?
Thank you. Well, I believe that we must have incentives for businesses to want to locate in North Lake Charles. The lakefront is the first positive domino that will fall under my administration and create an economic spark all across I-10. That is our greatest untapped source of revenue, is that I-10 corridor. Specifically, I think we also want to encourage people from the community to start small businesses within the community. I'm okay with outside money coming in, but why not encourage our local talent and our local people to start a small business? My family did that in 1956, and it was a struggle. But we've been rewarded for that, and the city's been better for it. So encouraging local people to start businesses and also incentivizing and educating them on not only how to open a business, but how to be a successful businessman. Because it's one thing to open a business, it's another thing to keep it open for 50 or 60 years. Thank you.
Mr. Jackson?
Yeah, the Chamber of Commerce and the Seed Center are doing a great job right now putting new businesses together and helping them learn. I think we're helping them a lot, but we need to help them a little more. They need incentive packages that they have at the Seed Center to be able to help people start these businesses. They don't have one right now. And we're going to have to parcel the North Lake Charles land. We're going to have to put a piece together and then try and sell it. We're not going to be able to just take little pieces and send somebody out there and say, go buy enough for your little shopping center, go buy it. It just doesn't work that way. We're going to have to do it. We're going to have to go ahead, and I love incentives. I like a tip. I've used tips out there to help them too. So there's a lot of ways we can make them develop. We just got to give them the incentives.
Mr. Landry?
You know, some of what was spoken about, it already exists, and it is at the Seed Center, and they have an incubator there where they work with young people that are people that are wanting to get into business that have not done it before, not sure what to do, and there's resources there for them, and they should take advantage of it. Another thing is, everybody's talked about all these incentives. Well, you know, all that's just great, but I'm going to tell you, you can go through the incubator, you can get incentives, and then, okay, I'm going to go open my business in North Lake Charles. If there's no traffic there, you're going to go out of business. And I don't care what you learned along the way, you're not going to make it. This question goes back to the previous question. You absolutely have to spend the money on the infrastructure, you have to finish the Enterprise Boulevard extension, and you have to build and complete those service roads to tap into those 50,000 plus cars a year. You don't do that, nothing's gonna happen.
Mr. Simeon. Monville. You are the next question. All right, Mr. Simeon. How will you increase the opportunities for local minority businesses to bid on city contracts?
I think one of the things that we've not had, and I think we're selling ourselves short, is there's not been enough information out there about how you come in and bid with the city. How do you come in? What do you need? What type of preparation do you need? From bonding to even having workers' comp to even having a incentive to come in and see the scope of the businesses. So one of the things that I think is going to probably help the city and help the businesses is to have people on staff that can help with estimations, come in and bid. We'll have a low bid process, but you don't want people to bid low and then they can't complete the job, because that's just as bad as them coming in and open bidding. So I think there's a lot of talent out there that has not been tapped, and I think the taxpayers deserve participation by everybody. But in order to do that, there has to be enough information out there to let people know what's coming down, how do you plug in, what do you need to do to get these bids in, and once you get them, they have the support to complete these projects.
All right, Mr. Banks.
Yes, I think with the minority contracts, I think it's all information. As mayor, the first thing that I would do is I would make sure that everyone that's a contractor have an opportunity to bid. I think for so long we've been seeing where only a certain amount of individuals have been getting most of the contracts and most of the work. One of the things that I would do is make sure that it is put on the table. Every individual will have an opportunity to turn that, to be able to receive that job. If they can't handle it, then at least they have been informed. I think the biggest frustration has been information about the opportunities. A lot of times we don't find out about a contract until something has already been built or someone has already completed the job. So the first thing that I would do is make sure that everybody has that proper information to know how and what it takes to be able to be prepared to get those contracts.
Mr. Carter.
You know that $9 to $16 million was spent on expanding Enterprise Boulevard for 7 blocks. That was done by a Baton Rouge contract. I'm going to use the Lake Charles contract, the Calcasieu Parish contract. I'm going to give preference to local people when I can legally do so. We have to do that. We're going to have to also report to the people when we do a project and we bid it out at a certain amount, then we need to let the people know what we actually got it done for. A lot of that funny stuff going on. Certain people get a bid and then they always add on to the bid. And so we got to have local people. I like to have an in-house engineer working for the city, in-house, and answering directly to the mayor. And I'll be working on that if I come in.
Mr. Hillary.
I think a lot of this boils down to communication, enlightenment, and education. We've started as I mentioned earlier, small business opportunity program. A couple of years ago, we increased the rate of businesses working with contractors from 10% to 25% minority or small social and economically disadvantaged participation. We need to educate people more on that. That vehicle is the Small Business Opportunity Program, so we continue to enlighten people through communication. And I think that will help people know how to do a bid, what we're looking for bids, and then how to find out when bids are coming through.
Mr. Hunter.
Thank you. Well, I think there's also a short-term answer to this question and a long-term answer. The short-term answer is more education and more information to get more local businesses involved in the bidding process. We can use a lot of flowery language about using local contractors, but we have to follow the federal and state law. And so we have to do things within the law. Secondly, what I would like to focus more on is how do we create and spark more small businesses to pop up in Lake Charles. Let's encourage people to go from being an employee to becoming their own boss and creating more small businesses. This goes back again to the question a moment ago. How do we increase the economic viability of an area? We encourage people to start small businesses, spark small businesses, hire locally. That's how we can do this, and that's how more people can get work from the city of Lake Charles. Thank you.
Mr. Jackson.
I've always said, I've sold insurance for a long time. And that's the whole problem with the contract. They can't afford the insurance, they can't afford the bonds. And the city does it right now at the Civic Center. We have a liability policy that we can attach it to your van. We can put something in place to where the contractor could bid on the project, and if he gets the job, we would have the insurance in place that he could do it. Of course, you still won't have to have the money to do the job, because 90 days before you get your checks are up, if you're sitting there having to spend $40,000 or $50,000 on a project. But we could help them at least on the insurance and the bonding.
Mr. Landry?
To help minority businesses do more work with the city of Lake Charles. And I think from what I've seen, the city has really done a pretty good job doing this. They've definitely, it's a positive effort. And I would personally, I would get a list of all those type of businesses from the Secretary of State and make sure that all that is inputted into the city's computer system. And then when you send out a bid, you make sure that all those folks get that bid. I really don't think that that's being done currently. That may help. And it depends. Some of it is on the part of the individual. I mean, you have to take the initiative to go down there and say, I would like to do some business with y'all. Of course, it's going to have to be a competitive bid and the person being capable of doing the work. But you also may hold some seminars and try to get those people involved and explain the process to them to where they would be successful in attaining some of those bids.
Mr. Mundell?
I actually ran into this problem. I actually had a small business. It was a cleaning business. One of the issues I see wasn't race necessarily because anybody would run into this problem. It's the degree of the bids and knowing who you had before. If they got the job done, then you're more likely to go back with them because you know they can do what they're doing. So what I think we need is degree of bids. Because I know there's the $1 million bids, there's the 100,000 bids, and there's also the small, because I had a cleaning business, and when you go to the government facilities, they are not clean. So that's what I was trying to do, and it was hard. I needed a large amount of capital for one small business because they wanted to make sure that you could get the job done. So I think we need degrees, like certain levels of, because when you're going against $1 million bidder, you're not going to win.
Another audience participation. What plans do you have in your platform for women to hold positions that are qualified for? And how do you plan to encourage women to vote for your vision? We will start with Mr. Simeon.
I think that the way to do that is we've got to get one ladies incentives to get involved. I mean, one of the things that you're seeing is that I used to represent companies that would certify women-owned businesses, and in many instances, the women weren't doing the businesses because they had other obligations, whether it was family obligations or anything else. So I think we have to really parcel these things out to take into account that we have people with challenges for their time and their efforts. Can we structure some of these contracts and businesses where you can work part-time and give your full-time attention to it? Where do we go and find the talent that we need to get what we need in place? Where do we find the incentives for the male-dominated businesses to bring in females because now they get more points and credit for coming in and participating with that? So there's a lot of talent out there, but again, it's a holistic approach. You got to see what they need to get them in the door.
In this question, let me clarify what I think the writer was saying. I think they were saying that what would be your plan for in your administration to include women who may be qualified for the job, and how do you plan to encourage women to vote for your vision?
And again, I think it goes to, we have to take into account that there's women are going to be at different stages in their lives. When I first started in law, a lot of ladies came in from law school. They were single, they had no children, they had no responsibilities. As they got children and as they got married, then all of a sudden, who became the raise of the children, who became these things? One of the things that I've seen done in corporate America is that they actually structured their work around the schedules that women have. Like, for instance, can you work till 3 o'clock? then you gotta go ahead and get your children, then you work after, then you work from home, then you do other things. I think the talent is out there. It's the opportunity to get in and be successful that needs to be worked upon, and that's what I'm planning on doing as part of my administration.
Mr. Montbelli.
One thing I have in my platform is called conditional taxing. And again, I want to say what it is to make ends meet. And one of the things that it does do is for, like in Louisiana, if you go on maternity leave, the state requires them to give you that leave, but it doesn't have to be paid. And when I say conditional taxing, it's a tax that you sign up for. You would go to your local government office and you would sign up for this tax, and it would cover you for those 6 weeks, which in my case would be 3 paychecks, and then it would take it out in small increments. So, and the thing about it is if you sign up before, it comes time because it takes 9 months to make a baby. So if you sign up before then, don't sign up the week later. If you sign up the week before you go on maternity leave, there will be an interest. If you sign up before then, there will be no interest.
Mr. Landry.
I'm becoming a Gary Montbelli fan. I don't know about y'all.
I think a lot of that, man.
I've done this in my business for years, and I would just apply the same things to the city. I've hired women to do what normally would be a man's job, and honestly, they perform perfectly. They don't have any problems. In fact, I must have said the right thing, so that'll answer the second part of the question. But truly, they do. And, normally in a parts store, it always was men in a parts store. But, I can assure you, I've had women that work there. They do a great job. They know what they're talking about. Somebody will come in there, and they're standing next to a man, and they ask the man counter person, and then he can't answer, and he has to turn to the lady and get her to answer the question. But one of the things that we did is, I make that exception all the time, and to make it like a part-time job, let her get off so she can pick her kids up and those types of things.
I tell you what, the main thing we need to do is pay women the same exact thing the man gets for the job. And we have 2 women in here that work for the city now, and I hope that I'm married, they both stay. One of them's on the wall as finance director, and one's sitting next to me. Because without them, the whole city would be in a lot of trouble. But that's the main thing. Women just want to be treated equal. Thank you.
Mr. Hunter?
Thank you. I think it is understanding equality in the workforce. In my business, and the proof is in the pudding. In my business, I employ many women and have had women that have become pregnant, and I gave them maternity leave and allowed them to come back when they could come back. So having a mayor that understands that, and again, the proof is in the pudding. I have a female campaign manager who's doing an amazing job. I have a wife who is an attorney, and not only is she an attorney, but she's a divorce attorney. So I am going to be minding my P's and Q's over the course of our marriage, which is be very, very long and very fruitful. But under my administration, absolutely, women are welcome to the table, and we will have a diversified workforce. Thank you.
Mr. Guillory?
Yes, we definitely believe in equal opportunity for all. I believe in empowerment for women. My first lady is very involved in empowerment for women, Ms. Monica Guillory. And so what I don't know, she teaches me. And but I definitely believe in that. I believe in equal pay for equal work. In my positions of executive director in many of our nonprofits, I've hired many women. I've also had many that had insurance issues and things like that because of pregnancy and maternity, and we have provided that for them. So we continue to empower women and continue to work with women. I think there will be no issue of encouraging them to come work for the city at that point.
Mr. Carter?
I finished my magnesia in accounting and economics, and from the military throughout the business system in my entire career, I have never seen one job that a man does that a woman can't do. And first thing I'm going to do is pass an ordinance requiring that for any job, any position come available in the city of Lake Charles, you're going to have to satisfy that you're sought out a female candidate for that job. And in a promotion, a female candidate has to be considered. And we're going to pass an ordinance requiring that we contact organizations like the Deltas and other sororities. They know the women, professional women in this area, and try to recruit through them and find a woman for the job. So I think it's a very important asset, female employees, and I'll be working to make that happen.
Mr. Banks?
Yes, thank you. Yes, I would definitely hire females and put them in key positions. One of the things that I would do, we definitely would not be discriminatory against any female. Even the Bible says God is not a respecter of person. So I believe that as individuals, we should not be a respecter of person. I believe that females bring a certain level of excellence to any work level more than any man. So I would definitely want women working closely with me, working in part of my agendas. Have a female campaign manager also is doing an excellent job. One of the things that I would do is we heard about maternity leave and those things of that nature with women getting pregnant. Some of the things that I have incorporated is with business to put daycares inside the business. So when the ladies are pregnant or their child, they can drop their child off when they go to work and pick their child up when they get ready to go home and know that they have proper health care. So that would be a new thing that I think that needs to happen in Lake Charles, where we can prepare that, provide that for pregnant ladies.
Mr. Montbelly, your question is, if elected, what would be your first order of business?
Doing an audit on Lake Charles, figuring out where the money's going, making sure we're accountable for every penny. That would be my first priority. Second priority would be looking into reducing taxes.
Mr. Landry?
Well, the first thing I would do is make a decision on the lakefront. Proposals have been there for some time, and, either we're going to pull the trigger and do it, or we're going to send out another RFP and move on. But the decision needs to be made, and that would be the first thing that I would work on.
Mr. Johnson?
Probably the first thing I would do is meet with the council, because you can't meet with them all at once. You're going to have to, there's a lot of people running for council right now, and you don't know what the makeup of that council's going to be. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a politician, and I know one thing. You better be a good legislator, because if you don't have 4 votes off that city council, the mayor's not passing any ordinances. Only the city council's going to pass that. So you better have 4 votes on that city council to help you get Lake Charles moving.
Mr. Hunter?
Thank you, ma'am. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is kiss my wife and tell her thank you. And secondly, I would meet with all the department heads at the city. I've already met with some and visited with them, but I would want to know from them specifically how their departments are working well and what we could do to improve them. Now, that's within the city. What I'd like to talk about on a more citywide basis is lakefront development. And I know that's been spoken about a lot tonight, but I am very confident saying under my administration, we will turn dirt on the lakefront. And it's time. It's time to turn dirt on the lakefront. We can find a viable solution. Thank you.
Mr. Guillory?
One of the first things I would do is definitely meet with all our departments, meet with our council, to find out what are the challenges, what are some of the issues that they see actually in their departments, and how together as a city we can come to work those issues and those challenges out. Secondly, I would work on some of the platform issues that I have, as I mentioned earlier, public transit, infrastructure, bring those things to light in our departments and in our city, see how we can develop all of that. Look, of course, at our budget and our audit and see how those things are challenging and how we can then again make us a beautiful city in all rounds.
Mr. Carter?
The first thing I would do is meet with all the department heads, and see if they, what they're doing, if they're doing what I think they ought to be doing. And then I'll go to each community to find out what their problem is, each section of the city, what they consider to be the main problem in their area. And then the lakefront and the I-10 corridor, I'll get to work on that and pass the ordinance I said I would pass and create the new department I said we need to create. And I have to get the city council to support that, so I'll be working there.
Mr. Banks?
Yes, first thing I would do is look at the budget, see what we are working with, see what's there. The budget will let you know what you can and can't do immediately. So that would be one of the first things that I would do. The second thing I would do is check with personnel, see what people need to be there, see what people don't need to be there. As a businessman, it's all about saving money, managing money, and so there are individuals that maybe have not been productive. We will look at their productivity and find ways that we can put people in that can be productive. third thing that I would do is look at finding a qualified police chief, because I believe that safety is paramount here. And so I would definitely be involved with finding the best person, regardless of color, race, ethnicity, or where background. So we want to make sure that we find a police chief that's going to help manage this city, keep order in this city, treat every individual fair and proper in this city, and those would be, along with economic development with lakefront property and those things, but police chief would be paramount.
Mr. Simeon.
Well, the first thing I would do would be to meet with the department heads first, to meet with the line down, meet with everybody just to see what they have to say, what they want, and get their input as to what direction the city is going in. The first action I would take would be to hire a grant writer for the city. A city our size has a lot of opportunities out there that we need to start bringing to bear as we move through these processes. And the first thing is going to be finding somebody to identify all these grants and other monies that are available, because Lake Charles is in the sweet spot. It qualifies for HUD financing. It also qualifies for USDA financing. And we no telling how much money we've left on the table, but I commit that we're not going to leave any more.
What preparation have you had to help prepare a city's budget, starting with Mr. Landry?
Well, I've worked here at the police jury for 17 years. Of course, that budget is quite a bit bigger than the city's budget. I am not a finance major, but I've prepared my own budget for my business for many, many years, and understand what it takes to live within that budget. And between that and the experience on the police jury and been on the finance committee there for a number of years, another thing, I've already gotten the city's budget, and I have some members on my team that are financial experts and that have helped me. We've already identified some savings of over $1.5 million that we have found by refinancing some debt, some current debt, and you know, I've got a background. I've done all those things before, and like I said, I know by looking at it what I can promise and what I can't promise. And we have to be careful, because we are in a decent financial position. There's not
Mr.
unlimited
Jackson.
sources.
You know, one quick thing, $1.5 million if you saved on probably 10 years. That'll pay $200,000 per year to get it. No, it's not per year. I got the city. She's right there. But anyway, I've been on I looked at the parish budget way back when I was on the police jury. Mark McMurray challenged me to go find something wrong with it, because I was just making a statement. I'll tell you next week when I look at it, and I'll tell you what's wrong with it. So he made that statement to the jury that Dan was going to come back and tell us what's wrong with the budget. So I went and looked at it, and I found a page wrong with the budget. One of them was $176,000, I think it was, for the animal control, but they were hiring no new employee. They had salary raised at $176,000. And I've looked at the budget for 12 years since I've been on the council. Time's out.
Mr. Donovan.
Thank you. Well, I've been on the police jury for 6 years. I served as president a couple years ago. So understanding about municipal budgets is an education. And my time on the police jury has been invaluable to teach me about government budgets. But I'm going to tell you, the biggest qualification for me in understanding a budget is being a small business owner. I am proud that my business is successful today, but when I started my business at the age of 20, there were absolutely months where I had to choose between paying the light bill today or paying myself a salary. And so I have had to make those tough decisions. Thank God today my business is in a position to where I'm not worrying about the mortgage payment or the light payment, but I have been in those positions before. I understand the value of a dollar. My grandmother, Mrs. Hunter, taught me work ethic, and she taught me to understand that pennies and nickels and dimes matter. And as a business person, I promise I will bring that ethic to the city of Lake Charles.
Mr. Guillory.
Even back in high school, taking business classes and going to McNeese, majoring in management, learned budgets. Every job I've had, every service organization I've worked with, there was budgets. Of course, being a director of small nonprofits, you do everything from your budget to taking out the trash. And so I did that. I understand budgets. Even working at the city, I had an opportunity not to work at the budget, but our finance director, our administrator, as well as our mayor, have allowed me to look at some of the budgets and see what goes where and why it goes there. So that experience I do have, and I think give a unique insight of being able to work with the budget and see where things go because of my past experiences.
All right, Mr. Carter?
Budget is very important. My background from my niece is an accountant in economics. I was on the city council for 8 years. I was president of the council in 83. I'm all about how the city budget operates. The legislature budget, I did that for 9 years. I chaired the civil law committee, and that was to deal with the budget. As a judge for 21 years, as a senior judge for most of that time, I worked with the budget of the judiciary. So I'm going to close look at the budget, especially the operating budget and the capital improvement budget. So we're going to have a pretty good understanding of what's going on in the budget. Not much to be hidden from.
Mr. Banks?
Yes, my preparation for handling budgets, being a businessman, entrepreneur, running a multi-million-dollar business right here on Ryan Street. Budget is very important. I have to make sure that I handle the budget. Being a pastor as well, when you're dealing with other people's money, if you mismanage it, it can be trouble for you. So we have to make sure that we manage the budget. I take care of a lot of different aspects of finances. I'm very involved and astute with dealing with finances and managing finances and working with budget. So I believe that once I'm mayor, we would definitely make sure that the budget is done with integrity and character, and it will be used in its proper method. It will where we get things done and taken care of, and it will not be abused.
Mr. Simeon?
I think the question was what experience do you have that would allow you to work with the city's finances? And I think budget is just one aspect. When I first got involved with into politics in the first place with the port's budget was totally wrecked. I mean, we had to go back and literally take the whole port apart and put it back together because we had equipment that was losing money. No one knew the losses. We had costs of usage that were out of control. We pulled that apart and put it back together. Then when I got in the city council, when Hurricane Rita hit, we had to work on a $90 million bond issue because we knew that we had to take some immediate action. And we were able to work well into the midnight hours to get that done. But we were able to pass a $90 million bond issue and not raise anyone's taxes and go ahead and get that financed. All we did was leverage it with casino money and also authorized but did not pass the tax and was able to get that done. So I've dealt with budgets, but I've also dealt with finances in a way where you put out money that you want to get a return back in that investment so it literally pays for itself.
Mr. Montbelli?
I need to make sure something's clear. We're talking about the Calcasieu Parish, everybody? Oh, the city. Okay. Okay, one of my hobbies is actually watching small local governments and research and development. So what I do is take an issue and I research for a year. And so I know a little something about the Lake Charles city budget. And one thing I found is that it's hard to navigate through. When you actually are a normal person trying to navigate through government bureaucracy, it's like speaking in a total another language altogether. And it's made up into a few different departments. Most people don't know that our combined total budget is $154 million. But we actually spend a combined total of $163 million. So that's a $9 million deficit that needs to be looked into, and that's why I would do it audit first.
Okay, last question. And the last question will be, what is your vision for lakefront development? And we will start with Mr. Jackson.
Well, my vision right now is Dr. John Noble and his group are working on an agreement with the city of Lake Charles right now to vote on before any new mayor takes office anyway. And the deal should be signed on the Benton property. They've got a great development they're putting in. If we get all the paperwork, it'll go to council, and then the council will vote on it, yes or no. And they are drawing up the paperwork now, so it will come probably in the next 4 to 6 weeks, not really sure, but it should be right in there, so that should be started and all that. The project, they're gonna start with residential on the front part, they have canals going in, there's a whole lot. It will be shown to the public pretty quickly anyway. They're drawing it up.
Mr. Hunter.
Thank you, ma'am. This is something I'm very passionate about, and I'll tell you, under my administration, again, we will be turning dirt on the lakefront. First of all, what the city has done is tried to wait for someone to come in with a multi-million-dollar, tens of million-dollar investment, okay? That hasn't happened yet. I believe that we can start out, instead of a $100 million project, why not look at a phase one, something to turn some dirt? And then the other thing we do when we talk about a project that large is we immediately exclude about 98% of the Lake Charles investment community from getting excited about that project. I'll put myself in restaurant mode for a moment. If the city came to me and said, Nick, we'd like you to build a restaurant on the lakefront, I'd say, okay, let's talk about it. If their next response was, you need to put a package together that's $50 million or more, I'd say, I'm sorry, that's way over my head. But if they say, you build your restaurant on the lake and we can have other people come in and build their buildings on the lake, now we can talk. We can invite local people to get excited about the lakefront. It needs to be food and beverage centric. It needs to be family friendly, and we will do that under my administration. Thank you.
Mr. Guillory.
I believe God bless the child that has his own. The lakefront is owned by the city. We do have some developers and other people that are interested in buying and or leasing that property. But I would love to see it as a park, as a festival grounds. Here in Southwest Louisiana, we're the festival capital of Louisiana. We have no fairgrounds in Lake Charles, no festival fairgrounds. I would love to see a family-centered fairgrounds, biking trails, walking paths, have an opportunity to have a venue on the lake. There's no place in Lake Charles that is made of a lake with nothing on the lake as far as a restaurant or business or any type of building, have a wedding or anything there. I would love to see that and have an entire park from the beach all the way to Clarence Street to combine the entire area. That's what I would like to see on the lakefront. I do also plan and endorse that plan throughout my mayor's campaign.
Mr. Carter.
First, I would like to ask that the city and the mayor not do anything until the new mayor is elected and the new council is elected, so we can have some input. I want to see happen on I-10 and the lakefront that's going to make cars want to stop. You know, you go down to Baton Rouge, to New Orleans, you look on the side, you left, you see a big water world. You want to stop and check that out. That's what I want to do in Lake Charles. Do something, and it doesn't, I'm very broad on what it is, but something that's going to create jobs and make people want to stop in Lake Charles. Do something about our lake. We got a lake that a lot of people don't want to swim in. We need to do something about cleaning the lake up. And so I'll be working I would hope that they wait until the new mayor is elected. I can assure you it's going to be something that's nice, something going to make cars stop and create jobs.
Mr. Banks.
Yes. First thing I would love to see done is outlet malls. I believe that coming down I-10, when you come down that bridge, you should be able to have something that you want to stop and visit. I think we need an outlet mall, such as a Tanger outlet mall. It done wonders for the city of Gonzales. Now when you go to Gonzales, there's restaurants everywhere, there's hotels everywhere. I believe if we can place an outlet mall there, it will bring other entities such as restaurants, hotels, and many other small businesses that can come in. I believe also a river walk would be exciting to have. Another thing that I also envision is a minor league baseball team with a stadium there. I think Lake Charles is incredible for something like that. We've seen it happen in Sugar Land, Texas, and it is doing wonders in Sugar Land. I think as mayor, we would send people out to find out what other cities are doing that have riverfront property, water property, such as Baton Rouge, maybe New Orleans, and other areas, and try to mimic some of those things. Thank you very much.
Mr. Simeon.
But I think that I'm going to separate the lakefront from the downtown area. I think the downtown area should be, if anybody wants to build condos, apartments, and housing, they should live on that side. I think everything from Lakeshore Drive to the lake should be commercial, and I think it should all belong to the people. I don't think we should sell that much property. I think the people of Lake Charles should always own the lakefront. But to give you an example, I'd like to see a convention hotel on the lakefront. I think we've passed up multiple conventions. We need a hospitality industry on that lakefront. We need to build, the city needs to build garages and take up all that concrete that's blocking development on the lakefront so that we can put different things up there. We need to put, for instance, if you want to stop traffic, let's go out there and get something like a Dave and Buster's and put it on that Harris property and pull people over. Let's fix up that garage that's sitting there, and I was an advocate for keeping that garage because you can stack 250 cars in there and fix that up, and then put a high definition video board on that garage that shows you welcome to Lake Charles and show you what's happening on the lakefront, show you what's happening everywhere else.
Mr. Montbelli.
I like what Mr. Joe Banks said and what Mr. Simeon said. One of the, I prefer that it stay in the people's hands, but I do like the fact that about the shopping center. However, the shopping center doesn't necessarily have to be for the lakefront, so it could be put anywhere else. One of my big issues with the lakefront is I want it to stay government owned. However, I'm not a fan of a government owning a business. The government shouldn't impede on the people's ability to, open a business. So what I wanted to do was have an aquarium there, like giant, a pretty big aquarium. However, it's expensive and I'm not sure if it would bring the revenue that a shopping mall would bring. So I would probably go with shopping for that.
Mr. Landry?
I envision on the lakefront a multi-use facility, people that are living there, restaurants, retail, a little bit of everything going on there. And I understand that this proposal has all those things. And I could sit here and say we need to wait, and I don't know why it's taking so long, and it's easy to criticize when you're up here and running for office. But, I know Randy Roach, and I know he does his homework, and until we're in his shoes, we don't know what took so long. But we're here now, and we should all get behind it. And me and Mr. Jackson disagree quite often, but I'm not that kind of person, and I don't think any of us should be. We want to be excited about it, and they should get credit for that, and Mayor Roach and his staff should get credit, and we should be happy for them and happy. It doesn't need to wait. Let's start now.
Because of the time limit that we have in closing, I know you were given the time, put you in 2 minutes for closing, but we're going to ask you to do your closing remarks in 1 minute. And we'll start with Mr. Hunt.
All right, 1 minute. Well, again, I want to say thank you to Delta Sigma Theta for having us here this evening. It was a great forum, great turnout. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. There's a lot said this evening, and you all are going to hear a lot about us candidates over the coming months and days. I ask that you take into consideration what we've done our entire lives. And for me, my entire life, I've always been a hard worker. I've had work ethic since I was a youngster. And that's something that was instilled in me very early on. I can promise you all that every day that I wake up as your mayor, I will be fighting for more jobs, better paying jobs. I will be fighting for infrastructure. I will be fighting for a safe city. I make that promise to you, and I ask you to consider voting for Nick Hunter for Mayor of Lake Charles. Thank you all.
Mr. Guillory.
As the only candidate that has served in the mayor's office, I can start day one. I have the experience to do so. I believe, as I mentioned earlier, it's all about service and leadership. I am a servant leader. I am a serving leader. And I want to use that experience to be your mayor for this great city that's 150 years in the making. There was a lot that we said this evening. There was a lot that wasn't said. For my part, I ask that you please go to our website, which is ElijahGuillory.com. Spell E-L-I-G-H-A, Guillory.com. You can see more about me and what we want to do in this great city. Thank you.
Mr. Porter.
I'm a businessman by nature. I've been in business a long time, and I invest a lot of money into my business, and I oftentimes do it against all odds. So I believe Lake Charles can achieve things in economic development against all odds. And I also believe that every area of this city ought to feel that they get a fair share of the resources of this great city. So I'm going to be working to make things fair. So that's my slogan, fair to all. And everybody will get an opportunity to have my attention to deal with the issues that they think is important. But the main thing is being fair to everybody and make our city the economic powerhouse it ought to be. It ought to be the #2 destination in the state, second to New Orleans.
Mr. Banks.
Yes, thank you so much for holding this forum. Appreciate it, being here. But I believe that this city is ready for change, and it's going to happen. I believe most of these guys that we've had here today, they have served in some type of capacity, or whether it's city council, police bureau, different other capacities. And we still here talking about a lot of the same things that they should have been done a long time ago. I believe that It is now time for somebody new to come in, somebody fresh, somebody with different ideas, innovative, creative strategies that can develop this city, bring this city together, unite it together, and work together, and see this city begin to boom like it should. I believe economic development is coming here. We need to be prepared for it. We need to be ready for it. And I believe that if I'm mayor of this city, I will be prepared, ready to distribute and to see that everyone in this city prosper equally.
Mr. Simeon,
Having served on the Port Board, the City Council, and the police jury, I've been on the forefront of many of the things that are starting to come together now in our city. I've seen the gaming industry start, where it's now rolled up beneath the state in gaming. I've seen the LNGs where we went out there and recruited and brought in these facilities, and now our economy is being driven like it never has before. I've seen what we've done from the bond issue, where we got ahead of the curve on some things, and we still have other places to go. But right now, our city is ready to move up to the next level. And a lot of the things that I've been working on, for instance, even in the district, in extending enterprise, the Ryan Street off-ramp, the turnarounds, the service roads, all that is ready to be harvested, and that's the future of development in our city. The South is developing. It needs to just continue development, and it needs to be managed, but we still need to build our city. And through the experience that I've had from all of those different places, and what I've seen, what I've done, I'm the person that's best qualified and best suited to move this city to the next level.
Mr. Montbelli.
First, I want to start off by saying that I didn't do this just because, it's something fun to do. I'm young. People think that I did it just because. But I actually sat on this for a year deciding to run. And the reason I'm deciding to run is it's time for a change. We at 10.75 tax, and I truly feel that I can do something about that. I feel like I have the answers, and I do not take this lightly. It's not, a kid thing. I'm not doing it because for the experience. I'm doing it because I truly believe I can help you. Vote Montbelli for mayor.
Mr. Landry.
Well, thanks again to Delta Sigma Theta and all of everyone that attended tonight. And I apologize for those that had to stand up. The police jury meeting room, it needs to be a little bit bigger. We should have had some chairs together, so please accept my apologies. I would ask that you go to my webpage, and it's chrislandryformayor.com. I can't sit here and speak of all the things tonight. And please go there, read my platform, see what I'm about, what my plans are, and it's a real plan for success. It's not a lot of political hot air. So please, I ask you to go there and do that. I also humbly ask for your vote and for your prayers in this election, because obviously we can't get there without you. So remember, vote Chris Landry, the right choice, continued growth, and smart growth in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Thank you.
Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, thank everybody for coming tonight. It's been a pleasure. The lakefront is going to be a great boom for Lake Charles. And there is a hotel in it. That's one of the first things to be built. So I think it's going to be a great deal. You got to remember, the city council is working right now every day while they're running for office. And a lot of them are running for office. And they're not going to quit and just say, hey, we got a race going on, so let's tell these people not to come sign the contract. It's got to come to the city council pretty quickly. And we've gone to Dave & Buster's, and we've gone to people like that. We've turned this earth over looking for people. Dave & Buster's said no because we don't have enough people. So it comes to different things, but the council's been working diligently to get this done. But remember, it's roads, sewage, waters, and drain. That's what the next mayor's going to have to fix in order to keep developing. Thank you. And please vote for him. And it's number 14 for
Let me apologize to the audience. We did receive a number of cards from you, but we were not able to get to the cards because of the time restraints, and we had a number of questions that had already been submitted. So we apologize to the gentlemen that are here running for mayor. We want to thank you for being